Hey, is having your favorite bisexual? Like, subscribe. All right. So before we start, I have a Patreon. This is my Patreon here. There's full frontal nudity, and I do certain things there. And if you're interested, you can go check it out. All right. So now today we're going to be looking into the truth about vibrators. Ooh. Okay. So very interesting. The benefits go beyond pleasure. In women, they can improve pelvic floor functions and treat certain types of vulvar pain. So that's a benefit there for if you're a vibrator if you're a woman using a vibrator. But there's there's more than just women that use vibrators. So let's explore all types of different things. Now, safety and hygiene, now they're relatively safe as long that you clean them properly. It's like anything else. You got to make sure that you clean it properly because if you don't, there's like bacterial stuff that can grow on it and then infections and stuff like that. So of course you have to clean everything, but that's like everything, just not just your vibrators and sex toys. It's everything. So just make sure that you clean it properly. You can buy some special cleaning products too, like your local sex store or on Amazon to make sure that you clean it properly. Now there's different kinds of qualities, right? But the high qualities and stuff, they're made of high grade silicone. And others are made out of glass and some are made out of plastic. But the glass ones, I don't think those are vibrators. I think those are more like dildos more than more than anything because I don't think that. Maybe they do. I'm not really sure, but I wouldn't. Glass vibrators. I wouldn't really. I wouldn't like those. I mean, I don't because if the vibration shatters, that's not good. So I would probably avoid those if they do make them. But I can't see how they would make them. It's just I seen somewhere that that they mentioned that, but I'm not really too sure about it. But those are usually marked for novelty use only. So if the glass ones are probably for novelty use, for decoration, maybe you're a very somebody that's really into the whole sex and the whole thing about the vibe or the lifestyle or something like that. You just want like glass dildos on your coffee table for decorations. It's pretty cool if you're into that sort of thing. You're probably the coolest house on the block for sure. Now they can also be used for sexual intimacy, right? They can be used in the bedroom to enhance that. But there has been some reports, mostly in men, that there's been a lower satisfaction. Now, I'll get into that a little bit later. Now, interestingly enough, I've also seen that the vibrators that were get this, okay, hold on. In 1890, vibrators were used, but in medical scenarios to help with muscle aches. They were not used for sexual gratification. But that came later. And also, in mental institutions in the 1800s and stuff, vibrators were used on women to treat hysteria. That was very fascinating. They would think that giving women orgasms when they were in a historic they were like crazy and acting all weird, that giving them orgasms would treat their hysteria. Of course that didn't work. That was debunked, but that was the late 1800s and early 1900s, the medical stuff was really wild, and they did some pretty radical things like for experimentation. But all right, so let's go back into what I said before about vibrators with using it was like gave you like bigger orgasms and stuff like that. I don't really think that going back to what was read here, what I read here, that it low that they found that used sex toys sometimes reported lower sexual satisfaction. Now I can agree with that, because when you use a vibrator, it's kind of intense, and it kind of like numbs the nerves, because especially if it's really intense, like it might bring you to orgasm faster. But as far as, now there's a lot of people that's going to be arguing with me and disagreeing in some sense. I'm sure that there's going to be some comments saying, hey, no, it works for me, you know. Why the hell did it stop recording? Okay, well, the audio is going to be different because this thing freaking stopped. All right. So lucky I still got my mic on my camera. Technology. All right. Now, for some people might agree that vibrators make it so much better and so much more intense and stuff like that. But for me, using a prostate massager, like a vibrator, I don't find that it really helps a lot. I found that it didn't feel as good, because I don't know. Maybe somebody, that use prostate vibrators, you can maybe comment and say whether or not this is the same for you. But it feels nice, but it doesn't help with the orgasms. It doesn't really make it any more pleasurable than if I use anything else, like something that was non-vibrating. So I don't know if vibrators are just if it's like a whole gimmick or a marketing scheme to, say, oh yeah, buy this and then we'll solve all your problems. Like maybe a back massager, it'll like relax your muscles and stuff like that, and kind of like give you that relief of the tension in muscles, like in your backs or something like that. But as for a vibrator to use for sexual stimulation, or I wouldn't even I don't, maybe it's not even, I wouldn't even call it sexual stimulation. It's not sexual. It's just self-massaging, self-pleasuring. Well, of course you can use it during sex too, but in a sense, it's more like for self-pleasuring and for relaxation. I don't think that the hype is as big as it is, because for me personally, using a vibrator, like a vibrating butt plug or something like that, it doesn't feel incredibly amazing like people think, or like people make it seem to be. It feels nice, but it's not like it feels as good as like manually stimulating. So I don't know if the hype's really what it seems to be. So if you don't have like a prostate massager or something like that, And if you want to try one, go ahead and try it. It's fine. You know, it feels nice, but it doesn't feel incredible. And I find it difficult to reach orgasm through like a prostate stimulation with a vibrator. So I don't know. I suppose it's all on whether or not you're really into it or not. If it's something that you just want to do for fun or stuff like that. So if you're not sure if you should get one, I would suggest just get the least expensive one that you can, just to try it out before you blow a bunch of money into a high-end expensive one. So yeah. Right. Well, Sam, hope to continue the comments. See you later.